ransom for the safe return of the victim. Police recovered an AK-47 rifle, 6 rounds of ammunition and 200,000 shillings, which was part of the ransom cash. One suspect fled with gunshot wounds after a heavy exchange of fire that saw the area residents scamper for safety. The 2 suspects were on the list of wanted criminals in Naivasha. The death brought to the fore the number of thugs killed in the town in the last 2 days after 2 carjackers were shot and killed along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway last week. According to Naivasha CID boss Martin Mbaya, the 2 suspects were had already received 400,000 from the trader and were demanding for more.
The police were able to recover an AK-47 rifle loaded with 6 rounds of ammunition, which was being used by the first person who was killed. Also, from his jacket, the police did recover Kenya shillings 200,000.
Let us now go to the top story in Lamu County, where 11 suspected Al-Shabaab militia were today morning killed after an attempted attack on a KDF military camp at Baure in Lamu County. The attackers are said to have made their way to the camp at around 5:30 a.m., where they began engaging with the KDF. In the process, 2 soldiers lost their lives. The number of the attackers is yet to be verified, as several of them fled the scene with injuries and are believed to have headed towards a Bone Forest. An assortment of weapons were recovered, which included 13 AK-47, 5 RPGs and 8 grenades. Currently, a manhunt is going on in the area, and area residents have been asked to report on anybody looking for medical assistance or any suspicious-looking individuals. Of course, we shall have more on that in our subsequent bulletins. Now, moving on, controversy has erupted between the committee which was appointed to form a task force to analyze the fate of Nyamira crop in Igembe, Meru County. The president had issued a directive for the formation of a task force to look into circumstances surrounding the future of Nyamira in relation to the country's economy.
Bakuya tukubaketi, tuongee, tukubaliane, tujue vile tutaenda, kwa sababu hiyo maneno akienda mahakamani yatapoteza wakati mrefu sana kabla kuamuliwa ni mahakama.
Mnasema mnapanga kamati ya kutetea watu ya Nyamira. Mkulima bado hayahusishwa. Hakuna mtu mwingine mkulima amehusishwa. Hawa watu ya kama Mulingene hakuna kamati, na Mulingene ndio tuko na soko ya Nyamira na Mutuati, Lare, na hakuna mwenye tumesikia amehusishwa hapo. Sasa hiyo kamati inatengenezewa Nairobi ya mambroka waendelee na kazi yao huko. Hiyo ni maneno ya siasa.
Kama vile tuliitwa maili 3 tukaambiwa kuna kesi na tukaanza kuwajibika, ni vizuri wananchi waitwe waambiwe tumepewa task force na Mheshimiwa Rais. Kwanza tumshukuru. The starting point should have been we thank the president for allowing us this. Secondly, now jukumu la hii task force ni hili. Hao watu mko nao? Yes, tuko na wao. Weka huyu, weka yule, weka huyu, weka yule. You move with the public.
Still in the area, a village in Meru is seeking to support the support of local authorities to raise 2 children abandoned by their biological parents. The 2 children are aged between 3 and 9 years old, have lived in 4 different homes in the last few months. They have so far been depending on the generosity of well-wishers as well as their parents, who reportedly dwell in Nairobi and Githongo areas. Elsewhere, more than 50 youth in Garissa County yesterday started a procession that is expected to go on for 29 days. The peace walk, dubbed Walk of Hope, is a way of raising their voice against the perennial problems facing northern Kenya, among them insecurity and what they term as a neglect by their government. Fatima Pole brings that story.
They first assembled for a word of prayer, later followed by words of wisdom and motivation from the elders, and then it's all systems go.
And to be vigilant for the need of peace and be advising all those around you.
Without peace, nothing can go anywhere. Without peace, there can be no development, and without peace, there can be no harmony.
Kenya is one, and united we stand.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
It is the day for the much anticipated walk dubbed the Walk of Hope, a peace walk that has brought together men and women from all sectors of the country. This group is determined to walk for 29 days in hopes of finding a solution to the never-ending problems rocking northern Kenya.
The objective of this walk is to restore hope in northern Kenya. We are not raising funds for any project. We are on a mission to sensitize the public. We are telling everyone that northern Kenya is a very good place to live. There are people, it's not a barren land. And it has its challenges. I would like to highlight the challenges as well as the positive aspects of this part of the country.
Mariam Hassan Duale is a student from Egerton University. She traveled all the way to join the procession from Garissa to Mandera County. A journey that has all the potential of getting dangerous, but one she's willing to embark on. So they walk on this same path that has been walked on by the militants who have robbed the county of peace and many young lives. But still they soldier on.
Yeah, definitely we are scared about Al-Shabaab. No, go for both sides, Al-Shabaab and Al-Shabaab. So we decided to walk from Garissa to Mandera.
This walk is a sacrifice by Kenyans who have had enough and the first of its kind in the region.
We are not seeing any leader, any governor, and we are very much disappointed with that.
Those participating hope that each step will bring them closer to peace and prosperity for northern Kenya. Fatma Pole, KTN.
Elsewhere, Kenya joined the rest of the world in celebrating the first ever International Albinism Day. And as KTN's Timothy Otieno reports, the event brought together families with not only a common skin color, but also a united stand. Take a look.
The band builds up a tune and the people start the march. It's a procession that made its way from the KICC through City Hallway to Taifa Road, then Harambe Avenue to Parliament Road, and finally back to KICC. It was a march of not only solidarity, but also a representation of the pride and the common bond that the albinism community in Kenya share. And out of the huge numbers here, Winrose Simiyu gleefully takes a photo with her two bundles of joy. 1.5-year-old twins Aldrin and Adrian are lucky to be in the arms of their mother after a failed attempt on them last week by a neighbor who tried to kidnap them.
Nilipompeleleza sana na kumuuliza, aliweza kusema ya kwamba la si hivyo, ningetaka tuuze hawa watoto, mwanamke mjinga ambaye umekalia mamilioni ya pesa na huku unalia shida.
This is the first time the event is being held on a global scale, this following a resolution by the UN Council in October last year to have June the 13th as the International Albinism Awareness Day.
Ulemavu sio kulemaa, ni kunyanyapaiwa. Negative attitude is the greatest challenge that we have for people with disabilities.
We've come to a time as a country that we cannot have a second-class citizen. We cannot have a first-class and a second-class citizen. Yes. Ningependa kueleza hata nyinyi mwende nyumbani mkijua. Mkiona mheshimiwa Mwaura, mkafikiria ati yeye peke yake ndo anawakilisha, mjue mko na mtetezi mwingine anaitwa Sakaja Johnson. Sawa sawa?
According to research, there is 1 in every 17,000 people globally living with albinism, and in Kenya that number is on a steady rise. The family of George Kamau knows that too well. They have had 2 children with albinism. Last year, the Kenyan government allocated nearly 100 million shillings to persons living with disabilities, those with albinism included. Funds that can go a long way in helping them live a better life.
A lot needs to be done in terms of legislation, in terms of protection, in terms of security of those who are affected.
The people present today here at the KICC grounds to celebrate the International Day of Albinism perhaps represent over 5,000 Kenyans who live with the condition in the country, and they say that if such events are held annually, then they can overcome all stigma that society may bring up against them. Timothy Otieno, KTN, Nairobi.
Thank you for that encouraging story, Timothy Otieno. Now, we are taking a short break, but of course we'll be back with more news. Don't go too far. Welcome back. Let us just review our top story today, which was an attack in Lamu where 11 suspected Shabaab militia were today morning killed after an attempted attack on a KDF military camp at Baure in Lamu County. The attackers are said to have made their way to the camp at around 5:30 a.m. They began engaging with the KDF. In the process, unfortunately, we lost 2 soldiers. The number of the attackers is yet to be verified, and several of them have fled the scene with injuries and are believed to have headed towards Bone Forest in the area. An assortment of weapons were recovered, which included 13 AK-47s, 5 RPGs and 8 grenades. Currently, a manhunt is ongoing by the Kenya Defence Forces, and of course, they have urged the area residents to report any person looking suspicious or anyone seeking medical assistance. Of course, we shall have more on that update later on in our subsequent bulletins. Let us now move to other stories. And pesa may not yet be mashinani, according to governors behind the campaign. But in Kakamega, affordable loans for small traders will soon be there. The county government has launched the Mikopo Mashinani Fund, a venture which stands to change the lives of poor people and give them something they couldn't access before: credit. Dorcas Wangira reports.
A man, his wife, and his bicycle. If art truly imitates life, then this drama is a perfect portrait of the way of life for many in Kakamega. The border for a bulk of youth equals income. But something happens in this drama. He gets a loan, and so does his wife. But it's not this play that's brought ordinary people all over Kakamega to Nambacha. It's a fund, Mikopo Mashinani. This, launched by the county government, is an affordable loan scheme for small-scale traders and entrepreneurs.
Pesa ni za kukuendelesha wewe na familia yako na watoto wako ili maisha yako yawe bora.
Nataka tutoe hii pesa na hii pesa imsaidie. Na hii pesa si pesa ya bure. Unapewa, unatumia, unarudisha, ukirudisha ukimaliza una haki ya kuuliza tena.
A revolving fund which, according to the Ministry of Trade, Industrialization and Tourism, will offer the best financial assistance you can ever think of, ranging from easy access to next to nothing interest rates, from 5,000 to 250,000 shillings. Standing with the Wamukoya self-help group here in Navaholo, they've been together for 3 years. And I'll first ask Ms. Jacinta, how did you hear about this Mikopo Mashinani?
Mimi wakati nilisikia kuhusu hii mikopo mashinani, tulidecide as a group kukuja kuchukua hii loan kwa sababu the interest loan lilikuwa chini like any other banks in Kenya.
No one guarantees will be 100% perfect, but at least it could reverse the narrative of a county where 6 out of every 10 people are poor. Numbers don't lie, and a loan will have to be paid back. This occasion, graced by the governors of Trans Nzoia, Busia, Nandi and Meru, was fertile ground to remind the national government of the Pesa Mashinani campaign, which still wants more resources given to the counties.
Pesa ije hapa mashinani, tuishughulikie maendeleo hapa mashinani. Serikali za county ndizo ziko karibu na mwananchi na ndizo zinajua shida za mwananchi wa kawaida hapa mashinani.
After the man in the drama gets the loan, he doesn't invest. Instead, he marries a second wife who steals all his money. He has to swallow his pride and go back to his first wife. She takes him back, but he will have to pay back his loan all by himself. Dorcas Wangira, KTN, Kakamega.
Well, elsewhere, Kenya's chances of qualifying for the Africa Cup of Nations in rugby took a nosedive after Simba suffered a 28-20 loss to Zimbabwe in Harare. The loss means that Kenya must win the next game against Tunisia in the next 2 weeks' time. Elsewhere in Nairobi, Kenya A side started off in its Elgon title defense with a narrow 2017 win over Uganda at the RFUA grounds in Nairobi. Robinson Okenye with that story.
As the national 15er side was busy in Zimbabwe in Harare in Africa Cup qualifier, Kenya A team took on Uganda in the annual Elgon Cup with the intention of kicking off its title defense on a delightful note. With both teams failing to cross the whitewash at the quarter-hour mark, the Ugandans took it upon themselves to break the deadlock as fly half Chris Lubanga put the Cranes 3-0 up through a converted penalty. For a period, both teams looked even before Edwin Makori grabbed the first try of the game to give Kenya a 5-3 lead heading into halftime. After the breather, Kenya came back a rejuvenated side, but finding an edge over Cranes proved to be a challenge. Aiden Aguero's penalty could not add to Kenya's advantage as the posts denied him. Cyprian Kuto, however, had other plans as he doubled Kenya's lead. Moments later, Alvin Otieno had Kenyan fans on their feet as his try gave Kenya a 15-3 advantage. Cranes cut the deficit by 7 points before Kuto grabbed his second try of the match to give Kenya a 2017 win.
I'd like to congratulate Kenya for the win. Yes, they played really well. They had a good structure going.
We want to go down to a dogfight in Kampala. I know it's going to be tough, but we're going to come back.
Earlier on, Kenya ladies played to a 5-all draw with Uganda.
With Kenya winning today's tie by a slight margin, the challenge now lies ahead as Kenya will play Uganda away in 2 weeks' time. Robinson Okenye, KTN Sports.
And that story brings us to a close this afternoon. Of course, the top story on Lamu attack continues to raise a lot of reactions. If I can just read a sample of tweets here. Yvonne Miner says that it is insane for, Al-Shabaab to attack KDF military camp and think they can get away. These same sentiments are being shared by also Nashon Christopher. Of course, we shall have more on these top story in our subsequent bulletins. For now, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Ian Ofula.